Hey, what's going on, champions? Welcome to Growth Mode. I'm Donnie Boivin, the CEO and founder of Success Champions and your host. I've spent over 20 years in the sales game and the last 3.5 going on 4 years running a very successful business and learning how to scale and grow it as fast as possible. Hanging out with me as always is my buddy Kevin Snow, a sales and automation tactician. This dude is an absolute genius when it comes to automating your sales processes. On this show, guys, we like to talk about all things sales, business development, growing and scaling your business, all meant for small business owners who are leveling up and working towards that business freedom. Kevin, on this episode, what the heck are we talking about?
Today, we're going to talk about how to get clients from Facebook.
This is going to be a fun episode. If you haven't heard Kevin and I's story, it's a pretty cool one. We met actually because of Facebook, and then we've built all of this because of that relationship. And when it comes to really doing business development on Facebook, this is really Kevin's game. I will tell you for sure that building a personal Facebook group was one of the greatest moves I did in business as a whole. Because it gave me a collective place to have all the champions come and hang out. And we built a lot of the things we built because of that Facebook group. But Kevin has really become a tactician when it comes to getting business off Facebook. So this will be a Team Kevin episode, and I'll try not to make fun of him all the way through it. So, Kevin, how do we do it?
Yeah. Any of our longtime listeners will know that is a lie. So I think you hit on it. There's there's a few different ways to get business off of Facebook. One of them is obviously you can spend lots and lots of money and hope that people click through ads and do stuff with you. But that is a ton of trial and error. It's going to cost you a lot of money until you get that dialed in. So that is, unless you have a really dialed in audience, I never recommend that to people. So the other way is, your organic posting, your organic reach, which is okay, but that takes time to build too. And if you're like me, I don't like posting. Donnie yells at me on a regular basis that I need to post more, and I just don't, and I'm working on it. But
not well. Let's
not
clarify.
Well.
He's not working on it well.
But then you have that whole who's following you, who's on your friends list, and are they actually your target or not? Mine's filled up with a bunch of Army and Marines, and that don't own businesses. So it's not necessarily the right people for me. So Donnie then talked about the groups, which is awesome.
So last episode, we talked specifically about imposter syndrome. Yep. You guys just got to hear that play out loud right then with that fucking statement. So here's the thing, guys, that I want you to clarify about all social media, then I'll let Kevin go back into it, is all social media is business. I don't give a shit how you do it. And however you show up, it's business. And if you're going to run a business, then social media needs to become that for you. If it's just a social playground, you're playing the game wrong and you're missing a huge opportunity. So don't let the idea of I don't have business owners in my social media, Kevin, slow you down from making this successful.
So I get to have a rebuttal to that. When I started my social media, that's what it was. It was totally a social place to hang out, and all my friends got in it. So that's why I have a ton of soldiers and Marines on there. But as I've shifted and gotten more into Time on Target, my company, and then Success Champions, I'm adding more people that normally would never get into my Facebook feed. My Facebook used to be the whole if we haven't interacted on a personal level, you don't get in it. But now I'm bringing in, I have new members that I've met once that are like, oh, friend request from so and so. All right, you're in. And I'm being much more open on my Facebook. So I'm fixing that. But for me, the posting to Facebook wasn't driving the results. So I had to go on Facebook where the people I wanted to sell to were. So I started the group thing. That's cool. I got a couple out there that I'm working with, not as diligently as Donnie would like me to, but I'm still working on them. But for me, it's working in other people's groups and being in members of those groups and building relationships that way. That's how I met Donnie. It wasn't in my group and it wasn't in his group. It was in someone else's group totally. And it's really, that is where you get to maximize your impact. Other social media platforms, LinkedIn has groups, you can do groups and different things on other, you can follow specific hashtags or whatnot to get access to people, but it doesn't have the same impact for some reason as the groups do on Facebook. And Facebook is is driving the engagement in those groups a lot more than you're seeing other places. So
For sure.
if you're active in those groups, you can use them to grow business. But you have to be active the right way.
Yeah, no kidding. So, what I've found is what most people I don't think understand is it's easier to do business with people that you have common interests with, or people that you geek out with, or people that are talking about things that you're knowledgeable on. And I think one of the things that's made Kevin extremely good at this is he's found groups and arenas on Facebook that have people that he can instantly connect with. Like he's done a lot in the veteran communities and whatnot because there's a common ground to already talk about. Us Marines can make fun of him of being in the rental army and it comes across just fine. But it's that instant bond and camaraderie. So one of the things that I think he's done successfully at is gone and look for specific groups that have like veteran business owners in it. Now there's some really shitty veteran groups out there, so don't go Googling veteran business groups because 90% of them are fucking dumb and you shouldn't be a part of them. There's a lot of fucking idiots in the veteran space trying to leading and guide people to business success. So avoid most of those groups. But I will tell you that, having that interest for Kevin has allowed him to connect with people he otherwise wouldn't have got to, because, the ability to be able to interact with people that are asking the right questions that you can help with have become key to everything. So I think step one from getting business from Facebook is playing offense with where you're hanging out on it. So one of the first things I would do would be go up to the search bar, type out whatever it is you geek out on, from medieval crap to Star Wars to Harry Potter to veterans to trucks, cars, whatever that thing you geek out on, and whatever that thing is, put 2 words behind it: business owner. So it can be Star Wars business owners. It can be fucking Harry Potter business owners, whatever else. And see if there's groups in that particular area that geek out, that are talking about, hey, I'm into Harry Potter and I run a business. And then you can start doing the Kevin magic from there, and I'll let him explain some of that.
So what normally happens in these groups, and I see it on a daily basis, is people that are new to the group will just like jump in with both feet, and they'll start posting and trying to be the go-to expert in that group, and that's not how it works. It's like dating. You don't hop into bed right away.
Unless you're in your 20s and you drank a lot and, you were fit and in the Marine Corps. Oh, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not telling any of those stories.
Got it.
So, But you have to figure out what the culture of that group is. Every group has a different culture. Even if it has the same type of people in it, the culture is going to be a little bit different based on who started the group. So, even looking at our groups, we have Success Champion Networking, the private group, we have the big group, we have a podcast group, we have a number of groups, and they all have different cultures of what's acceptable. So you need to figure that out first. So the easiest way for that is I will look for posts that are really, that I agree with and resonate with me, and I'll do a like or a love or one of the reactions to it. And then I'll make a really simple post. This is awesome. Thanks for sharing. Or this is really cool. I totally agree with you. That's all I do. Because no one's going to get mad at me. and that's what it is. No one's going to get offended. It's like, oh my God, you're not creating any division with your initial posts. But it gets you visible. And it now gets the algorithm saying, oh, Kevin likes this group and the posts that are in this group. So now you're going to get to see more of what's happening in the group without having to physically go to it. So that's always a bonus for me. So I'll do that for a week or so of just finding posts, replying to them, finding comments from people on posts and doing simple replies. Oh, awesome point. That was fantastic. Love this type stuff. All the posts that we tell people not to do because they aren't really worth anything, they actually help you become visible in the group. The next step is, instead of just doing that, hey, I agree with you post, is ask a question. Someone makes a point, dive deeper. Ask a valid question. Don't ask smart ass questions. Don't try to play stump to chump. Just ask a really good question that's going to make that person look better because they can now tell more. They can explain their thoughts. Now that ups your game within the group. It's like, oh, this Kevin guy actually has asked really good questions. He's engaging. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You're basically at this point having discussions with people in the group. And then from there, you can actually start with posting. And making good comments, asking good questions that's going to get people to engage with you in that post. And that's where you can start slipping into the DMs.
And what's brilliant behind all of this is it's a quick step by step. So Kevin, I'm curious, from the initial liking a comment, doing I like this post to you posting your own stuff, what's that timeline look like?
2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll go on and I'll try and do a couple I like you things a day. And so I'll, 4 or 5 days, and I'll move on to the next one. And then 4 or 5 days, I'll go on to the next step. So
and what I like about... Go ahead.
I was going to say, the other thing is kind of figuring out who the movers and shakers are, who has influence in the group, so that you can kind of start. It's almost like you're riding their coattails a little bit, but you're taking advantage of their position in the algorithm of, hey, they're an active part of the group, so they get shown to more people. It's kind of like even in our group, if I post a question, half as many people see it as if Donnie posts the exact same question.
Yep.
And I'm an admin for the group. So it's that same idea. It's like, all right, so I'm going to post on these people's comments and I'm going to get seen more. So that's kind of the first thing, is figure out who owns the group, how active are they, who are the active people. You're basically doing a little recon before you actually start the engagement process.
And what I like about this is a cool process that Tinkers or anybody else can follow, because it's step by step. Do this, do this, do this, do this. So another quick way to get a whole bunch of business from Facebook is to go with a offensive strategy. And not that Kevin's isn't an offensive move, but for me, it's putting out volumes of content. And I call it becoming a local celebrity. On Facebook itself, and start putting out volume of content, posts, blogs, things that will get people who are interested in you and what you're talking about to watch and listen and pay attention to what you're doing. I think the bottom line for Facebook as a whole is that you got to get in the game. It's if you're going to look for Facebook as a business, quit sitting on your heels and just scrolling the feed. Start getting active, start getting engaged, start putting out your own thought processes, and start engaging. Follow Kevin's 3 or 4 step process of like, comment, ask a question, and then start posting your own content out there to get more and more people to realizing, hey, you're somebody they should be talking to. And I think at the end of the day, Facebook is a great platform. We've generated thousands upon thousands of dollars from Facebook itself. It's one of our gold mines of business development. So dive in and have some fun.
Huh? We've done that without paying for ads.
Yeah, no ads. Yeah, absolutely no ads. So that's been awesome. So as always, guys, if you got any value, tips, tricks, or anything you can use out of this episode of the podcast as a whole, make sure you're subscribed or following the show. And do us a favor and please teach somebody else how to follow and subscribe to the show. You telling somebody else to listen to this thing helps us out tremendously to reach more people, and we love and appreciate you for it. Till next time, we'll see you.